Hello, everyone. Welcome and salutations. We hope you are having a great and glorious month. We are here for our March development update.
I know, and we're
It's
doing it on a
crazy. I
Thursday.
know. There's some
That's my
people who are
fault.
like, "What's this Fan Friday? It's not Friday." And I was like, normally we stream on Fridays, but we needed a little extra time. As you can see on
Yes.
our current topics list, we are going to be not only doing our reminders and studio update, our big focus for the stream is actually going to be the character creator. And yes, you are going to see it in action, us
Yes.
fiddling with it. I think we did one little edit that we had because we had a crash, but
I crashed it. I was manipulating the tattoos and
he put too many tattoos
I
on.
put too many tattoos and scars, and we found a crash that QA was like, yeah, we only really hit this crash like once out of like 40 times. And I was like, oh, okay, then it's safe. And then at the moment I did it, boom. So we did a little edit, but it's okay. Yeah, no, super excited with the character creator today, guys. Of course, we're going to preface that this is the Alpha 2 character creator. So there's a lot of features that still aren't going to be present in it. But I think
UI
what
is
you
not
guys,
done.
yeah, UI is not done. There's still a lot of, feature development that's necessary, a lot of presets that aren't present, some of the, options, and we'll go through that stuff a little later. But what I will say is I played a lot of MMOs, and I have very rarely ever encountered a character creator, even at this state, that is as versatile and capable as what our team has been able to develop. So I'm super excited to show that with you guys. I was able to record with Margaret and Zach Mallet and Clayton Stamper, and we had a lot of fun, and Chris Atkins as well.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys are going to enjoy it. We're a little silly at times, but we do get into some more technical details as well. Our programmers nerding out, which, is always a lot of fun. And then we also have, so this is very character heavy stream. We also have some more character art updates. If you've been watching and following along with our journey the last couple months, you may have noticed that we've been showing a lot of the, different races art because we are kind of finalizing some of those things and getting them to
Yes.
the point where, in Alpha 2, you will be able to play these. So we
And
will
another,
have some new
yeah,
showcases and reveals as well on that front.
I was just going to say another really important thing on the art side, at least, as you're seeing a lot of this character work starting to get revisions and additional passes, you're actually going to start now seeing the real kind of almost launch quality characters that we're intending to have in Ashes of Creation. So that's always exciting because as we've told you in Alpha 1 and prior to Alpha 1 during development, like art is always a work in progress, right? It's always getting, iterated upon and improved. And one of the great things about a transparent development process of an MMORPG is you get to see that from start to finish. And now we're kind of reaching a point in the quality where, we're feeling like this is where we want to be with our character art. So it's exciting to share that with you guys.
Yeah. And last but not least, we will also have our Q&A as per usual, and we'll probably also during the character creator segment, I'll be keeping an eye out for chat if there's any upcoming questions that I notice that we don't answer throughout. And I will also bring those up at the end of that. So let's get quickly into our reminders. Don't have a ton this time, but we do have a little bit of a new segment. First and foremost, we actually are going to be spotlighting a YouTube comment every stream now. So if you are a subscriber on our YouTube, if you leave us a comment, you may be spotlighted. So today's one is from Josh23, and they said, I love the diversity in the classes. I know they already showed the Valoon, but I wonder if they will further diversify them from the Kalar like the other races and their counterparts. And I figured you could talk a little bit on that front, Stephen, if you'd like.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, the classes. So the diversity in the classes, I know they already showed the Valoon, but I wonder if they will further. So are we talking about classes here, or are we talking about character races?
I think they're talking about character races, but there's some language barrier happening here.
I see.
Yeah.
So one of the cool things about Ashes of Creation is we have 9 separate character races, each of which have their own defined cultural influences, right? Those cultural influences are seen not just from the armor sets and how those armor sets get adapted when you don them as a different race, right? We have essentially sets that exist across all races, and each race that dons those armor sets is going to have their own racial influence on the presentation of those particular sets. So that's something that's unique in how each of the races get diversified. Additionally, our node structures and the way that cities get developed take into account the predominant experience that's gathered from the players around the node. So the more that one particular race contributes to a node's development, it's going to manifest in that particular node's architectural influences. You're going to see the architectures of those races become manifest within the nodes as well. That's another way that we diversify each race and we present each race's culture in the game, is through those architectures, through those props that exist, through the tailoring of the armor sets that the NPCs might wear, through the different factions that exist. Factions will have their own affiliation with different races as well. Each race will also have some different nomenclature when it comes to the lore or comes to locations in the world. They're going to have their own language influences as well. The way they kind of speak is something that's going to be distinct between races when you have dialogue trees with particular NPCs. So all of those things really go into kind of setting an immersive world where the cultures have their own identity.
Yeah. And I think that the main thing is here is that they're saying like the classes are so diverse that there's so many different ones that they're wondering if the races were going to be that as diverse as the classes. So that's what they meant
Yeah.
by that. But
Yeah,
thank you,
got it.
Josh23, for being a subscriber on our YouTube channel and for leaving us a lovely comment. If you would like
Thanks,
to be
Josh.
spotlighted in the future, just leave us a comment. Subscribe to us on YouTube. We
Yes.
know you're watching. All right, next up, a reminder that the Secrets of Shade Glen will be swapping over April 6th, 2022 at 11 a.m. Pacific for the new set. So if you'd like these, snag them while they're hot. And of course, we do have a dev discussion that just went live. So if you would like to give us some feedback and have a little say in what happens with our development, we would love for you to pop over to our forums and leave us a comment in regards to this. This month's one is, when it comes to enemy conning indication systems in game, what features do you like? If you do like indicators, to what extent or delineation? So this is like you come upon an enemy. How do you know what level it is? If you are going to be able to take it, or if you need to get a group together, that kind of thing. So definitely toss us your feedback. It's a heavy one. Some people love a lot of indicators, some people don't. So we definitely like to hear your opinion on that. And of course, last but not least, we do have our Content Creator Program application still up. We will let you know when the application process closes and we begin to invite folks. But right now, we're just in the application phase. We are getting, closer to that point where we're going to be closing it up and replying to people. So get it in there if you are a content creator and you'd like to be part of our program. It's going to be a very different program from the others that you've seen, probably.
Yeah.
Uh, and with that, that is our reminders. So I'm going to toss it over to Stephen to talk about our studio
I
updates.
know how anxious everyone is to get into the video that we have for the character creator, so I'm going to make our update quick on the studio front. Hiring is going very well this year. We're in the end of March. Since the start of the new year, we've hired just about 20 new heads at the studio. So very excited to have the great talent that we're attracting to this project. We have a lot more seats to fill. But our HR team, John, Stacy, and Cameron are doing great jobs, and Midori are doing great jobs in hiring incredible talent for the studio. And you're going to be able to see their work soon in our development updates. But other than that, things are going great at the studio.
Yeah. I know that people want a tour. When we're ready, we will. We still
Yep.
have some beautification stuff happening. Our office is still pretty corporate office looking, but we do have some art coming in as well as some cool plants and things. So I think that we're getting
Cool
there.
plans.
Cool plants, man,
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think with that, let's get to the thing that
we should.
everybody wants to
Uh,
see. So I'll let you
I
preface and then
know.
I will
Yes.
play this.
All right. So as I said in the beginning, there's still a lot of outstanding feature work that's necessary. The character creator is a little bit unique for Ashes of Creation because A lot of times your experience with a character creator is minimal in MMOs because you're there on launch day. You want to get through making a character. You don't want to spend too much time on it, right? So you jump straight into the game. One thing that we're going to be offering is people will be having access to the character creator before launch day. So they'll be able to create their character, spend time on it, save that character, and then have that ready to go immediately when launch day comes. That is going to be something that I think is very helpful. Additionally, we're going to be running some contests. I know that Margaret's excited about some character creator contests and some prizes that we're going to hand out as a result of those contests in the future. That's going to be
later
a lot
down
of
the
fun.
line when we're ready. We're not
absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
We're not quite there yet. We still have some work to do.
But what you're going to see in this video is our own custom created character creator, and this was a feat of great engineering work along with our incredible artists. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in this presentation. But I want you to keep in mind, this is the Alpha 2 character creator. And one other component of this character creator, which we talk a little bit about, is it has application not just for your character, but also for any NPCs you may hire that exist on your freehold that you might want to create custom NPCs. It's a great tool for our design team to create marquee characters within the game itself. And this technology is also applicable to our animal husbandry system and how we're going to manipulate creatures as well. So keep that in mind. But otherwise, I think we're ready.
All right. We'll see you on the flip side. I'm so excited.
Welcome everyone to our first look at the Ashes of Creation character customization and creator. Character customization and creator? CCC? Yeah.
Look how cool he looks.
I know, we get to see the Vek. Look at him in the model form. Super excited. Well, we're happy that you're joining us and taking a look at this first look at our character creator. We have an awesome crew with us actually here today. Some representation from the character team with our lead character artist, Mr. Chris Atkins. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Good to see the Vek in there.
I know. It's your creations are coming to life. Your team's creations are coming to life. It's so cool to see. And then we also have some of the brains behind creating all the cool customization options that we have available to us in this creator. Two of our engineers, Mr. Clayton Stamper and Mr. Zachary Milat. How you doing, buddy?
Hello. Hey, Clayton here.
Very excited to have you guys. And then, of course, this wouldn't be a stream without our amazing and glorious community marketing lead, Miss Margaret Crone.
Not Mrs. yet.
I know,
soon.
not yet. Soon. Excited.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah, and I know, of course, for those of you who are tuning in on the stream and who are seeing this for the first time on the stream, we just cut to this video. But for those of you who are tuning in on YouTube, you know, as you're watching these customization options, please feel free to leave comments. Let us know your thoughts. Join in on our discussions on our forums, on Twitter, on all the places so that we can get your guys' feedback, because that's why we showcase this stuff in development, is to get everyone's feedback. So I'm excited to take a look at this character creator with our glorious community. This guy is looking pretty cool. I'm loving the model, and it really stayed true to the concept.
Yeah, I mean, Manny's such a great artist, and I think that's why we picked him up, is because he had such a strong sense of like overall silhouette and style. And so yeah, you can see his work right here, and then a little more realistic direction for textures, and
Yes.
I think he's looking pretty good into what you envisioned. I hope anyway.
Oh yeah, no, he's looking great. I mean, this is one of my favorite races actually in our with our different cultures, right? Because it's so different than what I'm accustomed to seeing from a character race standpoint. Like most player character races don't look like these guys, and this isn't even in their actual like animated stance that they're intending to have, that more crouched look, right? That hasn't been implemented yet, but just the model itself is really cool.
Yeah, it's just them sharing right now kind of with the Kalar, and same from a technical standpoint, they share sort of the same geometry and UVs, so we're trying to make things pretty efficient and intelligently as we go along.
I like the tusks. The tusks were such a great touch.
Oh yeah, no, they're great, and again, Manny's concepts are awesome. He does stick right to them. Once we get something approved, he nails it.
Have you guys ever
And
played?
there's-
Oh, go ahead.
Go
Mark.
ahead. I was gonna say the community definitely has opinions on the tusks, and being able to customize them, or
Oh
I
yeah.
know some people have asked about removing them completely, things like that.
Right, or yeah, drilling them down like significantly to the point
Mhm.
where they're barely noticeable, right? Of
You know,
course,
some
there's going to
people
be
want them
parameters.
massive.
Yes.
You know.
Exactly. Okay, so one of the cool things about this demonstration today, again, want to preface, this is a first pass on our actual character creator. Clayton and Zach have done an incredible amount of work, along with a lot of other people who have participated in making our character creator. But from a functionality standpoint, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at all the different customization options that are presently available, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the customization options that have yet to be implemented but are still on our course, on our feature roadmap, right? And to do that, we're actually going to switch
And I'd also
over.
like to
Oh, yeah, go
preface
ahead.
that the UI is not final. This
Oh,
is
yeah.
still very, very early. So keep
Yes.
that in mind as well.
All the prefaces, all the work in progress prefaces. You guys, our core audience who have been following development of Ashes of Creation, you know this. You see our monthly updates as we show you, ongoing progress. But that's really part of the fun, right? You're seeing a massive MMORPG being made in real time with regular updates on the monthly, showing you guys our movement from where we were to where we're going and every step in between, and that's part of the fun. But in order to show off some of these customization options, the VEC aren't quite there yet with being able to be customized yet in the character creator. We can randomize it, but actually, let's go over to the Kalar. Oh, I love that effects. Jim did such a great job with those effects. So when you switch over, obviously you see the kind of, you burn away. That's part of the lore in Ashes. It also is something that you see in Death. If you played the game, you kind of have seen as your character dies, you turn into these pile of ash. But this guy's looking pretty cool. What is he? He's like, almost looks
He's
like
like a Viking.
yeah, like a Viking cleric or something. Oh, I love the detail on his face.
Yeah,
The
it's been
scars
cool.
look cool.
It's been really fun to make these guys, and yeah, I mean, you can start to see kind of, some of the imperfections that you're able to add and everything else. I mean, I'll let you keep getting into it, but yeah,
No, it's
great to
looking
see it
really good.
working.
Yeah, Clayton, I know, and Zach, I know you guys have put a lot of work into showcasing some of the scarring here and being able to like manipulate that scarring. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I tend to focus on the art side of it. I work with the artists pretty closely, and I do some shader programming. So I did a lot of the behind the scenes that's driving the appearance of the scars. And Chris Atkins did a really good job getting us the assets that bring it all to life.
The loincloth.
The loincloth.
Yes,
We used to have like a little,
loincloth.
yeah, we had a little underwear thing going on. And
Oh,
we're
yeah.
like, get us some loincloth.
Chris, where's maybe this should be better for Chris, where's the physics on this? I would like when I twirl it that the loincloth flares up,
It does have it. I'm not sure if it's enabled right now, but it does. It will flap, I promise.
Even wants accidental
Flap.
flashing of people.
Wait, I need to check something. Is for that particular loincloth, is there customization options? Let me see.
I
Oh, we
believe
have-
so.
Where would that be?
Kevin.
Oh, what is this?
Steve.
What is that? What is this? Is it,
You
okay.
wanted full customization.
That's been a question that the community has asked for some time, actually, whether or not we're going to have certain sliders. I guess this is a little showcase of what's to come in the future with being able to manipulate aspects of the character, including chest crotch. I don't know about the name crotch.
That could be Grat's selection.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Grat and Kobe and Tim worked on the UI side of this for our character creator, and that definitely sounds to me like a Grat selection in the wording there. But yeah, no,
I like that he went nice and casual with the booty though. He was like bottom.
bottom. Yeah,
bottom.
that's a fair. I'm okay with that one. I just don't know about the crotch one.
I know, but I think it's funny that he went crotch, but then for butt he went bottom.
So now some of these options, so we're talking like body type. In here we can adjust height and weight. You can make them a little bit, thicker looking, right? And of course there's going to be sizes here that we're going to kind of adhere to based on the race, right? We incorporate some limitations on that, right?
Yeah, we're definitely going to be doing that. I think Clayton can speak more to that.
Oops, Clayton, did we lose you there?
We lost him.
Oh
Also-
no.
Well, so
there he is.
the weight entitlement system for how those inputs affect the bones is actually something that Zach worked on more.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's a bone by bone basis on a per race and per gender basis. So
So now people who
every
don't know what
combination, yeah.
bone is, Zach, can you tell them a little bit about what a bone is?
Well, each
I have an
each mesh.
Plus you have one.
is,
So bones, it's pretty much, you can visualize it just like you would visualize a bone in a skeleton, but really what it is it's just a transform in space that describes how each vertex should be transformed if that bone is also transformed. So whenever the bone in the arm moves, all the vertices that are skinned or weighted to that bone will move the same way that bone does in a proportion to the weight with that bone and that vertex.
Ah.
So if you scale it up, it makes all of the vertices around it scale up. And one thing that Chris does very frequently is he'll go in and like touch up the skin weight so that the vertices scale kind of how we want them to. Because like originally we had kind of like a blockier look with the weight, but he went in and like really tweaked that and got something that looks pretty good for the larger weights too.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and I think it's a combination of that and what you and Zach are doing under the hood, because you guys are kind of averaging in between all these bones too to make smooth transitions, which really makes my job easier as well.
I'm just gonna play around while kind of you guys talk about all this fun stuff.
yeah, and it's
because-
also super awesome that we get to do all these manipulations and get a really wide variation of body types and faces and characters just from like one standard mesh,
Yeah.
It's a lot of times some character creators, they just swap it out in different meshes, but we're really like manipulating and molding and sculpting a single
And
mesh that can achieve like a really wide array of results.
And he was showing some of the wrinkles and the textures on the face. I know you guys are really excited about like the detail system. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit more about that.
I'm pretty excited about the detail system. Right now, we're just using it for wrinkles, but that's a system for pretty much blending any texture detail holistically over the entire body of a character. So whether that's like scales on the Renkai or doing like you saw the Vec has like scaration over their body. You could blend in like different scaration patterns, and we could even use it for like body hair sliders for the dwarves and all sorts of things for something as crazy as the Tolnar once we
You
get
mean
there.
like armpit hair? No, I'm just
Yeah, I
kidding.
keep forgetting about that body hair.
How do you feel, Catkins, about making holes for armpit hair in all the armor? No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, this is going to be quite the authoring. Hey, I guess we have to figure out horns anyway, so why not, right?
True, fair.
Yeah, and I love the hair customization you're on right now.
Oh, I do too. I love
I like that you
Especially
can
with
change
the
the length.
length.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I really haven't seen that actually very much in many character creators.
It would be
And-
cool that over time, when you're in game, you have to get a haircut because your hair grows out.
Oh,
Especially with like all the
yes.
combinations of your cheek like hair, your chin hair, your lip hair.
Mhm.
I
to
like
really
the
mix and
different.
match.
Yeah, the different options that you can kind of touch on, right? Look at the variance in just the lip length. Like,
Yeah.
that is pretty cool, because in a lot of other character creators that many of us probably have experience with, right? These are presets that you choose. You don't really get to manipulate the preset itself. Like, I would choose this super long length, mustache
Or the short
whatever,
one,
or
yeah.
the short one, and I wouldn't have the variance in between that I could customize. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, this is an impressive feat of engineering by the team. I mean, they've really done some awesome stuff, and they've really worked out a ton of the extra parts of the character pipeline that we didn't quite have nailed down yet, and these guys have really flushed everything out, and it's really cool to see. I mean, I think we all get mesmerized by this thing every time we play with it.
And we've been talking about letting people customize each eye separately. I know, because that's going to be a question that comes up too. But right now we don't have that feature in.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's still so much more left to do.
there's
Yeah,
a
because
lot.
having one blind looking eye would be sick.
Absolutely, or different colors, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, in tandem with the scars, you put a scar over that eye and then sort of make it milky.
I also like that you can adjust the fingernail colors as well.
I want to rotate them.
Did I? Yeah. Let me see here.
You'll have to up the strength of the. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're
there we
transparent. Yeah.
go.
I was telling Steven I want to be able to put like the tattoos on my nails to make nail art.
Yes.
So if you zoom out, you'll see his toenails too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Cool.
that's so cool. That is so cool. I love that. Let me see if there's some other presets we can play with. And now you put
This
in.
guy needs like a
presets.
trifold hat.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He looks like a musketeer.
musketeer.
Yeah,
or
very
something.
piratey,
Yeah.
this guy.
Let me see here. Let me go to some other presets. Oh, there we go.
This one's one of my favorites too because I love the hairstyle. It's cool.
Yeah, this
Jincy
guy
is
is
really
awesome.
good on that.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
hairstyles are awesome. Jincy, as everyone knows, is a favorite, I think, of the community. But yeah, she's been leading a ton of the charge on the hair, eye customization stuff while I've been dealing with more of the body.
Now let's talk about these. So this is in the appearance section, right? This is mainly like adjusting attachments to the character, but when we talk about the model itself and we move into things like being able to sculpt sections of the face or
This is
of
such
the
a
body,
cool. Yeah.
these are areas that we can actually touch up on. So when I grab this and I pull it in a direction, right, it starts customizing different segments of the body. Zach, you worked on this, yes?
Yeah, Clayton and I tag teamed on this one. We really wanted to give players that feeling that they were grabbing and pulling and sculpting their own character, especially with like more minute details. I mean, it would have been easy to give players like 100 sliders, but it feels better to have a much more tactile response than like clicking and dragging and pulling all these points around.
I
Now,
appreciate that I can have the flat Filipino nose.
Yeah, I mean, again, the engineers
Not
did
every
a great
game
job.
allows it, so
Yeah,
So-
so I remember Zach mentioned how much variation we achieve through the customization features. A lot of that is achieved through what Steven is playing with right now with these dots that are appearing. And the reason why those are dots instead of the little plates that you see highlighted on the character is because these are actually changing the shape of the character's features altogether. Where
It's a more
the plates,
micro level adjustment tool.
yeah. Plates are used for moving things around, and it sort of maps exactly to your input, and that's why that pick map or the plates feel so nice. But then you can click on those dots and drag those around and actually change the shape of a feature altogether.
Hmm. You can go from
that's some intense eyebrow.
cheeks and make them bigger, smaller, change the location, and then you can go in and refine the actual shape of it using those dots.
Yeah, this is phenomenal. Sorry, Chris, go ahead.
No, I was just saying they've really spent a lot of time, I think, sort of getting the feel right. We've all been playing with it till it felt kind of intuitive or kind of easy to use and friendly.
Yeah, watching the progress over just even the last 3 weeks has been unbelievable. I'm excited to see the backlog of features that are going to be incorporated as we move forward with the character creator beyond Alpha 2. But if you guys are, like I said, our core audience that kind of watches our development just from Alpha 1 to Alpha 2, this is an entirely different thing, right? Alpha 1 was something where we had a number of preset options that were very limited. There was little to no manipulation that was possible at all, and this is a fully fledged first pass and alpha pass, but nonetheless still is something I don't see every day in games that I play, or in MMOs particularly, right? And that's really cool to see. One of the other things that's interesting about this, and a lot of people sometimes beg the question, you only spend so much time in a character creator, right? Like, that's your initial experience. A lot of people, when they're trying to get into the game and level up as quickly as possible from a competitive standpoint, like, they don't spend a lot of time in the character creator. But the cool thing about this character creator is that it's not just intended for your character, right? It has application with NPCs that you might hire, that our design team might leverage this tech in order to create, marquee characters. It also has some application outside of just humanoids, right? Zach or Clayton, you guys want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, so we're going to use similar tech for implementing things like animal husbandry, or even just for creating creatures. I have some tasks slated for myself to implement something similar to what I did for characters, but for creatures. And yeah, tooling is a big focus for us, and making sure that designers have everything that they need to build the game with a lot of variation in the content.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time just working out the tech for this. So it'd be nice to use this tech in other areas of the game when applicable, whether that's the husbandry system or any more customization points we give players in the future.
I would also like to add that we are not sacrificing a lot of runtime computational efficiency for this. We are making sure that optimization is always at the forefront of these decisions. I was doing a lot of the optimizations that we shared a while back with the simulated siege with 1,000 characters, and with just the early rendering test of 1,000 characters. And this is using a lot of these features are implemented with the same tech for merging the mesh and merging the materials and batching that data for the GPU so that it can just crunch it all out at once. So
the first couple weeks was just spent making sure that this is viable for an MMO, because you really don't see this type of large scale and this detail of characters with this level of customization in any game, regardless of a large scale MMO. So we had to do a large amount of due diligence and tech to make sure that it can actually work.
Yeah, I think that if you look at how, like, the facial hair, we broke that into slots, like, that's an obvious example where we're achieving a lot of variation by breaking those into components that you can select individually and build your own combinations, where it's not possible for a lot of other games, because we're combining those meshes and combining those materials with our Udemy slot pooling solution.
And to Steven's point earlier, when we had our sort of very limited character creator, in our previous versions, this really is, you're able to do sort of what my job is, which was I was just making variants of characters to sort of put in, and now the players can do it. It's just really cool to see come together.
For the tattoos, you should show that you can change the color too of them.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think you were showing the tattoos, which is cool, but
tiny UX features, which is just being able to click on a tattoo and drag it anywhere on the body. It's such like a good feeling experience that a lot of character creators, you click it and it's just there, and then you're changing it on a slider in the UI, being able to like manipulate it on the character just feels really good.
I agree. This does feel good.
Yeah, it's the benefit of having so many gamers as developers, right? You guys know what feels good and what you'd like to see, and then you just get to actually implement it.
And another one of our core tenets is reusability of these tech features. And you can see that we have scars and tattoos available in this decal system. A lot of those are using the same technology to drive it. And a lot of the details that you'll be able to place on the character, we're reusing the technical features that we've solved to implement more features for you.
He's got
Yeah,
like
most of the hard work is done in regards to tech.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to find like a nice little place for the scorpion.
Teardrop, the scorpion teardrop.
The scorpion teardrop. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, it's cool. That's pretty cool. I love that. I love it. All right, let's talk about a little bit. Let me see here.
Play with the scars.
Oh, the scars. Yeah, let me play with the scars. Where do I
He
do
did.
here?
He was messing around with it earlier when you
Little
guys
bit.
were nerding out.
Oh yeah, talk to me a little bit about the scars, Clayton, because I know you did a lot of work on that front with Chris.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's using mostly the same system as the tattoos, but it's using a little bit more texture detail. And yeah, it still uses the same direct manipulation and the scaling and rotation. Whenever you select it, it highlights it for you so you know which one you're manipulating. But basically, it's just adding some bump detail and some like roughness and metallic. And it has all this information that Chris worked really hard on to show three-dimensional information on the character. And you can sort of just place that wherever.
Yeah, it's always a fun process too, working with Clayton and Zach, because they're great at giving feedback, and they're great at explaining exactly what they need. They're like, hey, could you just make a couple adjustments to this map or this input, and then we end up getting pretty much where I think everyone wants us to be with these, especially when it came to I think you reworking a lot of the color, Clayton, and getting that into them.
Yeah, basically there's like a flat color, which is basically just a multiplication of the base skin's color. So we really tried to make sure that the scars look and tattoos look good on every skin color. That was a focus for us. And so it takes a base color and like multiplies it, but then you also have a discoloration value that you can add to make it look a little bit more fresh or a little bit, more aggressive.
Yeah, I love the kind of wrinkle setting too. Really aging these characters.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I will be adding a lot more muscular detail as well, so we will be able to control that so that you can kind of make your guy more
I want
ripped
my-
if you'd like.
My one pack, Chris.
Yeah, no, we can do it. We can get to the one pack also.
The one pack. That's awesome.
The keg.
Yeah,
Your
the
fantasy,
keg.
Maggie.
Of course,
Oh, that's
I'm
pretty
dwarf action. Need to look like I drink all the ale.
So have you shown off the hair color controls yet?
I have not yet. Bring it down a little bit. Sorry, I was just being entranced by all the options and playing with things, trying to get people to just see the versatility. All right, let's go to the hair color options. Where are I going here?
The head.
Head. And
Yes.
hair.
Yes.
I love it. I worked pretty hard on that one with Jinsey and so with you and the rest of the team giving a lot of helpful feedback.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can pick two different colors and then it'll pretty much, every hair color uses the accent and the fill differently, but usually the fill is the root color and the accent is the tip color. And you can adjust the gradient, both the softness of the gradient and the offset of the gradient to really blend those colors however you want across the entire hairstyle.
Yeah, and Jinsey has a very scrutinizing eye, so I know it's not easy, Clayton. She kept coming back with like, it needs more sheen here, but yeah, she's great to have leading this up too for all this hair tech.
Let's see. So this is now on the top, though. Let me go to the beard and play with the beard one. So accent and filler. So I'm going to throw a little bit of white in there. Uh-oh, that's a lot of white.
Bit of salt and pepper.
A little salt and pepper. Ooh, play with that gradient, too. Bring that
I like
down.
the highlighting though. It looks cool.
Yeah, and we can control that through sort of different UV manipulation and get that salt and peppery mix in there.
Let me actually turn off the hair and just do the beard. And so I'm playing with this gradient to kind of determine the strength of that highlight, right?
Yeah, so the contrast is sort of the strength of the differentiation between those two colors, and the gradient will shift it along the hair.
I mean, I could spend all day in this character here. Here's
I feel like that's how most people feel. And the beauty of it is that you can save your character, and we already have some of those features available, and load them.
Right.
And in the future, we want people to be able to share those characters amongst each other.
For sure. And not only that, but you can save them for, like we were talking about earlier, like future NPCs that you might hire on your freehold, and have those NPCs look a certain way. I think that'd be really freaking cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, I was even talking with the designers about integrating the character creator into the quest designer tool so that they can just create NPCs with the click of a few buttons and have that already assigned to the quest and data.
All right, I want to show off a sculpt tool. Can we use like is there a preset that we have available? Let me see. Oh wait, we did the sculpt.
body?
I want to show the blend. Yeah, okay, so we're going to body. Let's see.
And
what's
there,
it?
yeah.
We did this guy a little
Mhm.
bit. This guy looks pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Oh my
Who's
god!
Wait a minute, I know that guy.
Oh my god! I forgot about this guy. We were playing with the functionality and how how we could get how granular we can get in the customization options to create, different personalities out there.
You know that's gonna like backfire on you, Steven. There's gonna be a ton of you and a ton of people making you in game.
No. This actually looks great. I hopefully excuse me, hopefully Asmund likes this little rendition of him.
It looks cool.
It does look cool. And the
Kind of creepy.
flexibility.
How realistic it is too.
All right, let's talk about blending. So explain to me a little bit about the blending mechanic.
Yeah, so blending is a little bit more, it's not so in depth, especially for those players that don't want to spend, time adjusting each angle of like the ear tip. This is more of a large scale macro tool that you can select a couple, presets, and then you can get certain features from one preset or different features from another preset.
All right.
So you place down your presets, and then you can click and drag and morph between those different presets.
Oh yeah. Look at that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm impressed with how many options and ways you've given the player to mess with this character.
Oh,
This would be cool for
awesome.
like a family. So when you're creating NPCs and you want them all to be similar, like you make a mom and dad, and then it'd be interesting.
Yeah, so you're taking features from each preset and you're making something completely new out of it.
Oh, that's looking great.
So weird.
It's freaking awesome. I love this. So you can add as many as you want and kind of pull between them, huh?
Not as many as you want. I think there's a max at some point.
Oh, yeah.
For UI purposes.
This is
Too far apart, Steven.
No.
That's so cool. It
Oh,
does
wait.
give me the
Fix this.
yeah. It gives me hope for the system I will not name, but gives me plenty of hope. I'm the only one that's terrified of that.
The one
system.
that Catkins is having like nightmares about.
No. We love our
Talk about
animal
animal husbandry.
husbandry system.
Oh,
I'm excited
how
for that
dare
one.
you? How dare you guys?
There you go. That's looking good.
I mean, it's looking.
Yeah, that's the right word. It's looking like something. I guess it's nice so you can make your guy like haggard for certain days of the week.
Wait, what?
This is Mondays.
Exactly.
Customize your character differently every
Yeah, for
PlayStation.
each day, like Monday.
He looks like he's judging you.
No, I know what we can do here.
Okay, what can we do?
Oh my god.
I'm scared.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I see where you're going with
Oh.
this. Don't get us in trouble.
It really is a fantasy game, huh?
Zach, no.
I get where you're going with
Zach said this is a fantasy game. Oh my god. Hold on, let me go back to the beginning and let's see what it could have been. Hold on. Let me see real quick.
But it could have been. What do you mean?
Just
Steven.
what? Hold on. Let me bring this all in tune. We gotta get the hair into. There we go. All right, let's take a look at our options. Now the length. Oh wow, look at that.
I like the length.
That's not
It's
too
cool.
bad. That's not too bad. Oh, okay. That's a lot of hair. That's really heavy on the hair front. This is interesting.
This is like a bro version.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's
Oh, I
pretty cool.
kind of like
I
that.
kind of like
actually.
that too.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. Now let me go ahead and go back to the blend. Oh no, actually the sculpt. And let me adjust the eyes real quick. No, no, no. Okay, that's better. Get that. Yeah, that's pretty good. No.
Yeah, were we talking about, Clayton? No negative results?
Yeah, that's
What
right.
we're talking
So-
about.
So yeah, that is
Just,
one
like,
of our
fix
core
it.
tenets. This is one of our core tenets that we want to make sure that the user is always getting positive results with whatever they're customizing. Of course, you can go crazy with it and try to make it look as goofy as possible, but definitely no monster factories.
No, no monster factories. I mean, you could do some monster factories, like with the tattoo, put the scarring like on the eye. Yeah, we can just grab the scarring and put that over the eye. Oh, here we go. Let me manipulate this now. Wait for it. And I think I can make it super crazy large and like pull it down. Ooh, now that looks kind of creepy. That doesn't look
He
too
got
bad.
slashed by like an axe or something.
You might have
Wait.
lost that fight.
I know, I think we did lose that fight. Now we can adjust in the eyes. Hold on, let me go back to the eyes and put this like weird film over it and make it maybe a little bit
Oh,
white.
sick.
Yeah, like
And
a
then-
mage hit him with a fireball in the face or something.
Yes, and then wait. now
Oracle vibes.
we can take
I
the
like it.
pigmentation here, make it a little bit, hold on, let me see. Now he's starting to look a little creepy. Right? That doesn't look too bad. Oh, that's scary. I like that. That's
I
pretty
wouldn't
cool.
mess with that guy.
No, he seems creepy.
Give him some more wrinkles.
So now, something interesting is that, Unreal obviously is a phenomenal engine. Epic is such a great company with, the amount of resources that they pour in really to helping, out of the box. There being options for developers to use. But at Intrepid, we really like, creating the functionality ourselves. I know that there's some other character creators out there that people probably have seen with Unreal Engine. One of which is what's it called, MetaHuman, I think.
Metahuman. Yeah.
Metahuman.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that-
And yeah, makes awesome characters, but yeah, we built all of this tech in house.
yeah.
Zach
That's,
and I worked pretty
Yeah,
hard on that.
we wanted a solution that was tailored for the experience that we wanted to give players, and especially the tech we needed to support it.
yeah, especially for an MMO, right? Because that
Yeah.
those technical requirements, those limitations are very specific to a per project basis almost.
100%.
If we want to render as many characters as we want to in large scale battles, we have to.
Yeah. Well, you guys did a phenomenal job, and
Yeah.
it wasn't just a-
Everyone, and even the people who are not here in this call, like,
right, that's what I was about to say. Like,
Great job.
This is a wide-ranging effort by not just Clayton, Zach, and Chris, but with Jinsey and Brian Gans and Tristan and Jim in the effects side,
Colby.
John, Colby with the UI,
Mike.
Mike with the
Yeah, Manny.
iconographies, and Manny.
Gotta list them all now, Steven. That's what you've done.
I'm listing them all. I'm listing them all. Production, especially Benoit. Very important role, of course, through any development as a production team, and Benoit did an awesome job organizing a lot of it.
We were falling apart without him for one day.
Oh, I know.
So-
Ben-
One day
that's
he was
great. He's
gone.
great for morale too, because we'll be in the meetings and he's like, "I'm sorry, I was mesmerized by the screen."
Also, let's not forget Steven.
Oh,
Of course.
Steven was here with
Direction.
us through this entire process. He was
Thank
guiding the
you.
entire thing, giving us tasks on how to make this better. And also,
He is the
he was-
driving force.
was crazy enough to hear my pitch on what I wanted to make for the character creator and actually give me the responsibility to make it happen.
Well, you guys have done a phenomenal job, and I hope that out there in the community, you guys are seeing the quality, right, that we're striving for in Ashes of Creation. You're seeing that continual improvement, the development ongoing on a monthly basis. Right now, on our march towards Alpha 2, and you guys are going to have an opportunity to play with this character creator, to find the bugs in this character creator. There's going to be additional functionality that we're going to discuss probably back on stream when we get there. That wasn't included as part of this first offering or this work in progress, but is the intent that we have for this particular area of the game that we want to showcase eventually. So, you know, we're really just excited to see this game come to life and to see you guys, you know, react to the hard work that our developers are putting into it, and that's exciting for me, and I know it's exciting for you guys too. Margaret, is there anything else, or guys?
Let's show the randomization, and also maybe the VEC randomization, so we could show maybe some more of those like
sure
Tusk options and stuff. But yeah, I think that you said a lot of what I would resonate as well. Everyone worked really hard, did an amazing job. I mean, look at this. This is phenomenal. And there's more to come in regards to, I know there's going to be a lot of questions about the other races and the differences between them in character creation, as well as, the sexes. We'll be showcasing more of that like as we progress in our development. So stay tuned.
Oh, the textures here are taking a little bit, huh? Oh, there we go. Perfect. This guy's a chonky VEC. A little chonkiness here.
He's got a little song going on.
Let me see. Zoom in on the some of the face here.
Yeah, if you go to the Appearance tab, it'll be a little easier for the randomization.
Yes. Oh yeah, there we go.
Cool to see the tusks change whenever you hit randomize.
Yeah, I love that so much.
They did really good on the tusk customization. There's a lot of variation.
Yeah, and that's something we'll make sure to bring into the other creature races as well.
Yeah, it looks very
I think one thing that's really cool about doing the races and the features that we've done so far for the character creator is that it paves the way for the cooler things that we're going to be doing later.
Yeah, totally agree. Very excited. You guys have done a phenomenal job. And I know that I share the feelings of the community when we say that we are very excited for the future and what not just the character brings, but watching all the other features for Alpha 2 start coming online. It's pretty exciting. Awesome. Well, we will see all of you back on stream. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube, feel free to leave us comments. As I said before, we're always excited to read feedback from all of our followers, all of the people who are excited for Ashes of... Oh my God, look at that guy's face. Excited for Ashes of Creation. We read that, we internalize it, and we come back to the community with actions that represent those feelings. So, thank you for joining us during this video, and we will see you back on stream. Bye.
Well, seems like everyone liked it from the chat. I do know there are quite a few questions, so we're going to try to answer some of those.
For sure. And before we get into the question, I just want to, kind of express to you guys that it's been a long journey so far in our development. We're not creating something small. MMOs are obviously big things to make, right? They're probably the biggest game you can make, and ours is a particularly ambitious MMORPG. But what I do hope is that with the demonstration of our Alpha 2 character creator, and as we lead up to Alpha 2 and you start seeing these progress updates on systems and on combat and on the world and on everything that goes into making an MMO, you understand the bar of quality that we are trying to hit with this project. That is something that is very near and dear to us as developers, our hearts, right? Is that we want to make something that makes us proud, that makes our community proud.
And on the
And
quality front, this isn't even its final form. Like we're
right.
not completely like there's still more stuff that's going to be happening. So,
Absolutely. And
yeah,
I will say one very important thing. It takes a lot of people to build an MMORPG of Ashes of Creation size, and we are hiring. So out there, this is going to be a great tool for you guys to spread the word and help us spread the word about the project and Intrepid Studios, because we still have a lot of bodies to hire. We want to be at a little over 200 people within this year. So we have a great HR team that's helping on that front. But please share this stuff. Talk to the developers of your favorite games that they've made and let them know that Ashes is hiring. It's very important that we get the best possible talent, because when you acquire talent like we have at Intrepid, you get these types of results. And this is the quality bar we all want to play in. And I can't say enough how proud I am of our developers, of Intrepid, of everybody on the team. I know we mentioned some of the names there in that video, but we are hard at work, and
yeah.
there's a lot of work still left to do.
And even, within our team, like during our last like potluck, I heard a lot of discussion of people talking about what they love about working at Intrepid, and it just warms my heart to see that, a lot of people have had bad experiences, but
Yeah.
from our what we're trying to achieve is making like really a home for people
Yeah,
where they can be passionate and make and create the things that they want.
absolutely.
Obviously within line of what we're creating. And I
Yeah.
know that people have said, "Are you guys going to create other games?" I'm like, let's launch one game
Focus
first.
on Ashes. Yeah, focus on
But
Ashes.
you never know. Um,
Absolutely.
so with that, I'm gonna play kind of some B-roll video in the background, whilst we chat.
Awesome.
But the first question we have here is obviously where the females at. So if you want to talk a little bit about why we're showcasing, and obviously we haven't even shown you all the races yet.
Sure.
So if you want to talk a little bit about why we focused on one first.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of technical hurdles that come into setting up the skeleton and the rig for each race, and the different genders. Right now, we want to kind of get this out in front as quickly as possible, so we use kind of our base Kalar male model to stand up all of the tech that Zach and Clayton were working on. It just takes a little bit of time for us to convert those over on the female side, and as well as on the other races. So you'll be seeing those options probably as updates through our community team, showcasing that on different social channels in the future.
Yeah, so stay tuned. We'll be showing off more, creation process as we get further along with the creator.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I know there was a lot of comments, and even internally, I saw some devs talking about it who are maybe not working on the character creator. And in regards to blinking, because obviously when you're creating your character and they're just like staring at you, it's
Sure.
a little horrifying.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about
Absolutely.
that.
Anytime you're in a scene where you really want to have close control over the face that you're manipulating, it's sometimes a little bit difficult to incorporate heavy animations in that, right? So the idle stance is not really present. And then also, as you're like manipulating the eyes, right now, if we had like blinking or eye darting, like following the cursor, or like, oh my God, what are you doing to my face kind of thing, that takes a little bit more time to set up as well. But it is something that the animation team is working on.
Yeah, we definitely discussed it. We thought about, if we'd be able to get it in by time, but we weren't feeling confident in regards to the quality that obviously we have a quality level that we're trying to meet. So, and we want to
Yeah,
make sure that when we showcase these things to you guys that you're not going to see weird wonky stuff
absolutely.
as much as possible. There's some cases where, there will be bugs.
By the way, I do want to mention, obviously we talked about a little bit about features that are not currently present in this
Yeah.
Alpha 2 character creator, but one important thing for all of us out there who love experimenting with character creators and making cool creations is the ability to adjust the environmental controls around the level that the character creator exists in. This might include different scenes that you can put your character in. It'll include lighting adjustments that you can have. In this B-roll footage, you're kind of seeing the emissive colors change in the background every now and then. There's going to be a lot of environmental controls that are offered through the character creator so that people can set it up their scene that they want to kind of grab screenshots or to grab recordings or, whatever they want to do. That's also some additional features that Tristan was working on.
Speaking of additional features, there's quite a few questions here in regards to that, so I'll just go through it. I saw some people talking about asymmetry, and we talked a little bit about the fact that we want to have this for eyes in the future,
Sure.
but just in general, people would like to have some asymmetry in their body and things of that sort. So,
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, the asymmetry is going to be, functionality that's possible in manipulating either, different components of the body or different features like hair, the beard. We saw a little bit of that blending with highlights that you can do. Margaret talked a little bit about the the eye
eyes.
asymmetry that you can include. Obviously, those are going to exist within certain parameters that we want to define on a per race basis. But it is something that we think is cool. Asymmetry is a really cool thing, and those will be available for other parts of the body as well.
Next, a lot of people were looking at the VEC and being like, it'd be really cool to have piercings. Is that
Yeah,
something that we'll showcase? Maybe not just for
absolutely.
VEC, but for the other
Yeah,
races as well.
100%. I mean, I think even we had some of the body adornment or jewelries that were available on the VEC model, but we just didn't have time for this demonstration to bring those over into the character creator yet. But that'll be also kind of culturally dependent as well. But there will be options like that to customize with your character. Yeah.
And when we were showing off the hair options and colors, we showcased a lot of very natural colors, and people were wondering if they can have more vibrant greens and blues and stuff like that, or if they're going to be more specific to those cultures and races, as
Yeah,
far as the options they can choose.
options are definitely going to be culturally dependent. However, with regards to the question about high saturation or certain types of color ranges, obviously we have a style guide that we want to hit from an art perspective, right, in the game. So those options will be dependent on whether or not they match with, excuse me, whether or not they match with the kind of style that we want to have within the game.
Right, cool, cool. And I know there's a lot of customization options that you guys want. We will have a ton more, so stay tuned as we showcase more of those features. The last question I have here before we move into our character art segment is people were asking about. We've talked about this in regards to paintings and pictures in your freehold, being able to upload images. People were wondering when they were looking at the tattoos if they'd be able to upload images for those. Um,
That's a good
it's
question.
a, I know.
It's a tricky one. For me, I think it would be cool if we could do that. Of course, that does add an additional layer of customer service need on our side, right? We're going to have to answer tickets and reports that come in if people put questionable, markings, and then we have to do like, warnings and removals and bans or, whatever. Like that's a whole other element. So, we will see. We will see. It is still an open-ended question in my mind.
Yeah. From my perspective, I've worked on products where we did allow it, and there were a lot of service issues that we had in regards to customer service, and
Yep.
we had to remove them in some cases. So
Oh yeah.
it's definitely not an easy thing to say yes or no to, but we'll see where we're at on that front. But I know it was a question that was asked, so I wanted to make sure you all felt heard. So moving from there, let's go into our character art stuff before the stream gets ridiculously long.
And by the way, before we move into the
Yeah.
character art stuff, I just want to also add one additional thing. For those of you in our core audience and our community who's been following development for a long time, and has had, the outlook to anticipate the day you'll start seeing our quality bar hit the area we want it to. I just want to thank you guys for the support. I know that a lot of projects in the past have failed to live up to your standards. They promised the world and they haven't. They didn't deliver in many cases. Our intent is to deliver. So I hope you guys that are watching and anticipating a future developments and seeing the progress on the work that we're all doing, that this level of quality is something that's speaking to you from a gamer's perspective and something you want to see in play, because that's our target goal. So really appreciative of your guys' support, continued support, watching our development, giving us feedback. It's so important. Like, I go on like Reddits and I go on other channels and I read feedback from pretty much everywhere we can get it. And in the early days of our project, there was a lot of skepticism. Now, as people have seen our Alpha 1 and they're starting to see more updates on the monthly basis, it's nice to see that the support from the community is there. Our objective is to take the time that's necessary, right? We don't have a publisher breathing down our neck. I don't have investors breathing down my neck. Like, our goal is to create a quality product. And your patience in that regard is very helpful. Your support in that regard, verbally participating in the feedback, is extremely helpful. So please make sure, if you're watching this and you want to see these types of game designs come out and at the quality that we're showing now, it's important for you to get involved. Go on the Reddit, go on Twitter, go on our forums, give us feedback. We're not looking for people to purchase into the game or to pre-order. We're really just looking for people who are MMO gamers to come out and talk about the ideas that we're presenting and the updates that we're giving. That's a super important thing that's part of the process, and it's very important to us.
And almost every platform that you go to where we are officially there, you will get an interaction with like one of our development team. Our whole community team is on staff during our core hours, and if you come ask a question in Discord, we'll answer. If you're on our social media, we will respond to you. If you head over to our forums, we will engage with you. So it's one of those things where not only are you posting, but you're also going to get a response from us.
Absolutely.
I strive to build that as a team. I think I've worked on a lot of projects where, that isn't something that was
Were you restricted from doing that even?
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that, we as gamers all want that interaction with a development team, and you can get that with us. So
Yes.
yeah.
Very, very proud of Margaret, very proud of the community team as a whole. You guys are doing an awesome job interacting with our player base. It's very important.
They kick butt. I love them all. They are
Yep.
great. Beyond that, like Steven said, in regards to delivering on that quality, that takes time. So bear with us. Give us the time that we need in order to ensure that
Yes.
we can release a product that is going to be what we've all been waiting for and dreaming of. I'm going to spend
Agreed.
all my out of office hours playing, so I'm excited.
You too?
Yeah. I mean, we're the people who would play all night.
I'm just
and,
ready to wander around as an NPC. Like, that would be fun. Like,
Oh yeah.
I just want to like inhabit the body of an NPC that somebody's fighting and just be like, whoa, where did that come from? Why does NPC start going crazy? No, I'm just kidding.
No, I think it's great. I would love
inhabit
it.
a boss during a raid or something. Oh, it's so fun.
Dynamic content, a little different.
Yes.
It would be super sweet. We'll definitely have events and stuff like that. That's one of the things from a community perspective that we've been putting in. We're putting together some requests in regards to some tools we'd like. And one of those tools is being able to do something like what Steven had suggested, which is, spawning ourselves as a boss and fighting, having an event like that.
I'm totally just joking. It's like, I would do that on the public test server, but yeah. All right. What do we got for character?
Characters, moving on. So before we get into the character stuff, it's one of the things that has come up quite a bit from the community and even internally is, how do we pronounce all of the races? So I was going to get a little Steven soundbite. Let's start with our human races.
So we have the Kalar and we have the Valoon.
All right. And then moving on to our Elven.
We have the Empyrean and we have the Pyre.
Right. And then our orcs.
Our orcs are the Vek and the Renkai.
And then our dwarves
are the Dunir and the Nekua.
And then the last and final, our conglomeration of madness. Of
the
creatures.
Talnar.
The Talnar. All right, there you guys have it. I've also sent our wiki folks, Lex over there, kind of like the pronunciation for those, so they'll be updating that as well. So, just quick get that out of the way because people have been asking. In regards to the character art, you saw some of the wrinkles in the character creation, but we kind of wanted to show you what this looks like. It's not in a final form, but they're still working on it. Very cool.
Yeah, I love the wrinkles and helping to establish age of a character is really cool.
And I won't have a turntable for this because you guys did see the Vec mail in the character creator already, but I wanted to show some still images of them as well. You saw the concept art for them, and this is the first time we've been showing you guys the 3D models, but
Yeah.
our concept art looks almost the same, so it's
Well, one thing
amazing.
you do see here that you didn't see in the character creator is hair options, right? So these are
Mhm.
some of the Vec hairs that are possible as well.
And some more of the piercings and bones and stuff like
Right.
that.
Yeah, the adornments are present as well. Yeah.
And then the female that you all have been waiting for.
Oh yeah, there we go. Some of the jewelry options, another hair option. Yeah, and again, the reason why obviously we didn't have the female characters present in the demonstration was because we got to hook up a lot of those technical components that allow for the manipulation within the character creator.
And I do have a turntable for her. So
Nice.
you can see the full 3D. Y'all thirsty over those booties though.
I know the Vec booties.
I saw like the chat going nuts. I was laughing so hard.
Oh no.
They
I'm just
really
waiting
wanted
for
to see us
some
do the butt slider.
I'm waiting for some creator as they review the presentation today to do the
Yeah.
whole booty 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 everywhere song on it.
Oh, you know they're going to. They've already done it with other
Oh, yeah.
creatures. And then we are going to be showing the male Pyre.
Oh, so
first
this is the
time.
male Pyre.
This
Yeah.
is the concept art of them.
Right. But you can see the delineation between the male and female in the ears and in the antlers, or as some were calling the branchlers, or what were they calling them?
Yeah, branchlers. You're right,
Branchlers,
yeah.
as well. But that's the Pyre male.
Very, very cool. And if you have feedback for us on the Vec or the Pyre, we have some threads already up on the forums. Definitely pop over there, give us some feedback. We love hearing from you guys. Obviously, along our journey, we've been continually making changes and updates based on that feedback. So keep it coming. Next
Yeah.
up, we have our fishy friend. Maybe one that you
Ooh,
might not want
fishy
to
friend. Yes.
engage with.
This is one of the Alpha 2, I believe this is one of the Alpha 2 raid bosses that are going to be in the ocean. That'll be interesting when you come across that, what might happen.
Yes. Good luck. That's all I'm going to say.
Good luck.
Good luck. Good set.
We should have added a scale there because
Oh,
those
yeah,
are
to
big,
give you
those are big
scale.
boys.
Like a little
Oh, yeah.
fishy, like next to
Yeah,
his cheek or
the
something.
number of ships needed for that one's going to be a lot.
All right. And then we have our Whispering Watcher. Whispering Watcher.
Oh yeah, I love this creature or this mount. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a mount.
yeah,
Very cool.
very sphinxy feeling.
It was definitely inspiration. This is one that I got to design, so it was very,
Yes.
very exciting. It was creepy, but I know a lot of people were like, it's going to be so creepy, but look at the 3D model. It's so good.
I would really love if this mount had like a social action that it could do where it like yells at somebody near you or something, right?
Whispers.
Or whispers.
What I
sorry.
want to see is that
Get
it's
away
like a
from me.
dungeon where like you're going through the dungeon and you just hear whispering throughout the dungeon.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then
that'd be
you
kinda
find
creepy.
out this is the creature that's been whispering to you the entire time.
Yeah, that'd be
You have to
creepy.
battle it. That's what I'd like to see. All right. And with that, we will head on over to the questions that you guys asked over on the forums. Obviously, our artists are amazing. We show off their art all the time, but shout out to all of them. They are phenomenal.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We love our team.
Yes, all of them. So our first question is from Azael over on the forums, and they wanted to know about world PvP. Have you considered a high stakes loot drop PvP zone / area in Vera?
We have not, and the reason for that is our current PvP systems already allow for material and material risk essentially. That's either through the flagging system or through other event-based PvP opt-in systems as well. So yeah.
Oh, it was Ezreal. And the next one, similar name, Azure wants to know about nodes. Will infrastructural issues requiring reactive tasks be part of node gameplay outside of Monster Coin, Siege, weather, and natural disaster events?
What was the first part of that? Will
Will
what?
infrastructural issues requiring reactive tasks be
Oh,
part
okay,
of
sure.
node gameplay?
Absolutely. There are three primary systems that deal with building damage and or building destruction within nodes. Those are NPC driven events that are a response to some type of either story arc predicate or atrophy issues that happen with the node. There are node sieges and there are node wars. All of those, the event system could be a hazard like a tornado or a hurricane, and that could deal damage to buildings, which require then the players, in order to reactivate those services from a particular building, to repair the building. There is the ability for buildings to take damage during wars or during sieges. When those abilities take damage, they could potentially be destroyed, at which point a rubble appears on that plot within the node, and the government has to clear that plot before they can either reconstruct a new building or the previous building that was there. Buildings also live within a prerequisite system. So in order to build down the tech tree, essentially, of what these buildings provide as the node grows larger, to access more to access stronger building types, you may get a kink in that chain if it's destroyed, and you'll have to stand that back up in order to support the service again. So there's a lot of reactive type of systems that can interface with nodes and the development of those nodes, and players and governments will have to respond to that in order to keep their services running.
All right. And this one is from It's Fane, and it is regards to rare items. With unique and rare legendary items limited to one per server, what will happen to an item of such rarity when the player character in possession leaves the world or server?
That item will then be available again for acquisition through whatever means it was acquired previously.
And then Captivated would like to know about lore. How do you plan to establish big characters and story arcs in an ever changing and node driven world? That's a hard one, but yeah.
That's a very long answer required.
Yeah.
So our story arc system, which is being championed by our lore and narrative teams, Scott, Wynn, Jeremy, Amy, these are built in such a way that, and I don't want to get into too much detail, but they're built in such a way where these marquee characters or these story plots have multiple, and I don't want to use the word nodes because nodes has a specific connotation to cities, but within the context of these story arcs, there are specific points that they can pivot to tell a different story. That different story can be based on predicates that are in the world from a player decision standpoint, from a cultural representation standpoint, from situational to which node gets developed. There's a lot of different components that interact with the way the dialogue and narratives play out on a particular server. And what that means is, and I've said this from the beginning, many sandbox MMORPGs, they do not create as much curated content as theme park MMORPGs, and their excuse for doing that is because they incorporate player-driven mechanics. But that's a bit of a cop-out, and it's the opposite approach that we've taken with Ashes of Creation. And the reason for that is, if you give the player a door and there's nothing behind that door, then opening the door is meaningless. So what we have to do is we have to create a very functional story arc system that provides content in many different ways, but is behind a door of world progress or world development that is then executed by the player population. And that's how we construct our narrative systems, essentially, with a short answer.
Yeah, there's a lot that's going to interact with our narrative stuff, so stay tuned. We may showcase some of those things,
Absolutely.
throughout the
Yeah.
upcoming months. So,
Mhm.
our next question is from George Black, and they want to know about armor. Since
Yeah.
heavy armor will be strong against physical damage and cloth armor strong against magic damage, what would make players want to wear leather armor?
I think your armor is really based on your threat assessment. Like, what encounter are you going with? Is there a blend of incoming physical and magical damage based on the types of opponents, other players, creatures that you're facing? That's going to be completely situational. So that's how our armor systems essentially are. You're not going to get one set of armor that's going to be situationally relevant for every encounter you might face. That's crazy. And as a result of that, you're going to have to succeed in acquiring sets that are situationally relevant for the types of encounters you are intending to face. Leather gives you a blend between both worlds. It also will have different types of set benefits that aren't purely related to damage mitigation, right? So that could be outgoing skill damage. It could be critical chances. It could be some other waterfall stats that are associated with it. Our armors don't just boil down to damage type mitigation.
All right. And our next question is from Doug Bug27, and we're going back to a little bit of lore. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to answer this one, but will the racial capital cities such as Ren for orcs, Ayla for human, and Amera for elves be player cities, potential nodes, or has the cataclysmic event done something else to them entirely?
So we have to remember that part of the story, and this has been expressed in the past, is that you are returning to a world that has essentially been destroyed and left untouched for many millennia. And as a result, those old capital cities are essentially the ruins of which you're returning to. And the new cities that you are developing, the node structures that exist, these are brand new cities, right? They might be couched within ruins of old, empires, so to speak, but they will not be representative of the old capital cities.
There you go. And then Akatosh and Zillan had this same question in regards to instances. Will the instance content still have scripted and difficult boss fights that drop gear and loot?
Yeah, obviously that's our incentive wheel, right? That's why you do content for the most part, is as it relates to your progression as a character, both in your vertical power and horizontal capabilities. And in that sense, even though we're mitigating the amount of instances that are really relevant within the world to a 80-20 split is our objective. 80% open world content, 20% instance content. Really, instance content is meant to provide rails for an experience, right? The designers want the experience either to be like, single player or just a party, and they want to control like that environment and that encounter. They use an instant, especially if it's important to a storyline, whether it be class-based storyline, culture-based storyline, node-based, whatever affiliation related to the character is a path they want to take down the instance category. There's not going to be too much of that, but they will incorporate, of course, our traditional reward structure.
Yeah, I was just going to note that we're straying away from that as much as possible, but in some
Yes.
cases, it is a tool that is useful for us.
Now, to be fair, that doesn't mean that the reward structure of incentives will be, BIS. They won't be best in slot type items. You will not accomplish that from instanced based content. Those will be found within the open world. It'll be a competitive area for you to achieve those things because other forces will want to achieve them as well. And because it's open world, there will be a limited number of those who can successfully complete on whether it be some timer for a world boss or some condition or other world state predicate. Those are things that people are going to have to contend with each other for.
And that's where that risk versus reward comes. And, if you want the cool reward,
Absolutely.
you got to take the risks.
Absolutely.
And speaking about gear, Songrune actually has a question saying, will accessories such as necklaces and rings be vertical power changes or horizontal power changes?
Both. And it depends on how you engage with them. But there will be options for both. Yes.
And then Tom, not sure how you want your name to be pronounced, is asking about mounts. Will some aquatic mounts have any utility skills that can be used in fishing?
Yes, absolutely. That will be a, excuse me, fishing is a big part of the game. I personally love fishing. I think we're going to have a really cool system for fishing. And mounts will have skills that relate to fishing in some way, shape, or form. At least the water mounts, right? Whether that be getting out to a particular area, whether it be like some type of fish finding or chumming the area. There could even be benefits while fishing in the water while mounted, right? Like you're on the back of your turtle out there just sitting in the water, casting your rod or your line and to fish. There can be some benefits conferred upon you based on the mount. Yeah.
Right. And I'm probably not going to say this person's full name because it has a little bit of a swear word in there. So we're going to call
Uh-oh.
you Joker.
Oh, now I'm interested.
Cody should have caught that. They want to know about raid PvP, and they're asking, how will raid loot be dispersed when PvP battles are involved during the raid fight?
There is already a complex system in place when it comes to raid loot settings that each raid can have. If we're talking about two competing raids, we have a blended approach of damage done and a tag benefit. So, if you tag the boss first or you tag the loot, whatever the loot target is first, you're going to get a benefit in the damage overall determination. So if you need to have 51% of damage done in order to qualify your raid or the plurality of damage done, if there's even 3 or 4 raids, then tagging first might give you a 5 or 10% edge. We'll play with that number, balance it based on testing. But generally that's our approach in competing loot rights.
And there's been I've actually seen a lot of discussion regarding this topic. People do have concerns in regards to, I go into an area and I just tag all the monsters, and now I have some percentage of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, if you tag all the monsters, you're really only going to be able to focus, you damage a certain subsect of them, right? And players will be able to over damage essentially the other monsters that you're tagging. So that's why we have a blended approach. So people can't do the tag all and now I own them all.
Okay. And I'm sure there will be follow-up questions in regards to that. But if your question didn't get answered here, our amazing community team, Roshan and Vacner does a lot of work on this. He basically goes through every question to make sure that if you asked a question that we've already answered, he gives you the answer to that question, and then also lets you know if your question didn't get selected, so that you can, make sure to ask it again for the next month's questions and possibly get picked as one of the random questions. So thank you again to everybody for submitting them. And like I said, check it out over the forums if you didn't get your answer here. And I think that will wrap us up for our March development update.
Awesome.
Woo. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm glad that you guys enjoyed watching the character creator. There's like I said, a lot of work ahead of us for Alpha 2. We're hard at work on that March. But stay tuned for our future updates because we're going to have a lot of fun stuff to share.
Yes, a lot. There's so much more to come. We are very excited. So thank you all for joining us. We will see you next month for another development update. And in the interim, please follow us on all of the social channels. We constantly keep you all updated. Every day almost there's some social post up there. Peter does an amazing job interacting over there. So hop on, give us your infos. We might have some other exclusive stuff to socials. So since this was a very long stream as is, there's some pieces that didn't quite make it in here. So stay tuned over there. And of course, if you want to join our dev discussion, we just had a new one go up. So pop on over to our forums and leave your feedback over there in regards to indicators for like conning and enemies and things of that sort. And then, of course, our April cosmetic swap over is on April 6th. So get those sets if that's something you're interested in before the swap over. And the video for this, we'll have 2 videos. One is going to be the 4K video of the character creator segment. That will be going up probably later today. And then we'll have the full video of the whole live stream go up probably on Friday. So stay tuned for both of those. And then, of course, leave us a comment over on our YouTube channel if you're watching this right now, because you may get selected as the lucky winner as long as you're a subscriber and you leave us a comment.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, follow us on all the social. We'll see you next month. Toodaloo.
Bye, everyone. Have an awesome weekend.